This is a season of joy. Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Now, you might think that because I'm sure you've seen the thumbnail for this video, and you might think, oh my gosh, this is the first of her 12 days of layouts for the season. But actually, it's not. This one's just sort of bonus. I was playing around with some different ideas for my new series that I'm doing of layouts that transfer ideas for quilting into scrapbook layouts. And I just couldn't not use this one. And I already have most of my ideas for the 12 days already kind of planned out. So this one was sort of an extra. And so I thought, let's just do it early. So you're getting one early. I hope you feel like you're getting a gift because it's sort of like that, kind of. Anyway, so I chose this one, and I chose this word for many, many reasons. I know this is a really tough time for a lot of people, and the holidays are generally kind of hard on a lot of people anyway, because they dredge up so much. But no matter what holiday you're celebrating this season, I just feel like the word joy is really something that all of us can use right now. So I hope that this is a layout that you will take the time to put together. And even if you put it together and just use it as a motivational thing to look at every day when you wake up, rather than put it in your album, then I think it would be well worth putting this together. It doesn't take a lot of supplies. You can use your scraps to do this, and it will turn out beautiful. So gather your scraps and come take a look at my workspace. We'll get started. All right. So this is my workspace for today. And what you're seeing in front of you is the remnants of my Winter Woods collection. If you're not familiar with the CM collection called Winter Woods, it was from a while ago, and I have just a couple pieces left. I have 2 whole sheets. They are that beautiful scenic piece with all the snowy trees, and I have yet to use those, but these are the remainder of my designer papers from that collection. We're going to use a bit of this today in making and completing our joy. So in today's layout is a transcription of a quilt square, and we are going to spell out the word joy. And I've done a couple of versions of this so far, and they have turned out really, really nicely. The very first one, I've done them a couple of different ways. So this is the very first one, and I have these placeholders for photos just sort of temporarily stuck on here with Repo so that I don't lose them. But this one was done with one of our older Christmas collections that I just had a few pieces left of. And I did this one very differently than I did the second one. So this one was done with large whole pieces where I marked and cut off different corners of the pieces, and it just seemed a little more complex than it needed to be. And then I also went through and I added the pieces to create the background instead of putting it on a whole piece of paper, which I think made it even more complicated. So we're not going to do ours this way today. We're going to lean into my second version, which was this one right here, which I think is super cute. And I think it turned out so so cool to have different patterns in the letters. It just looks more quilty to me, and I don't know, I just kind of love how it turned out. And these are probably going to be mats for photos that'll go on this page, so those are just hanging out with it. This is the way we're going to design today's page. So I want you to find a collection that you have 6 different patterns that you like, and you need enough to get roughly, roughly 3 by 12. You need a piece that is roughly 3 inches by 12 inches, or the equivalent thereof as you cut. And that's really all you need of each designer pattern, okay? So we're going to just start here real quick, and I'm going to place my trimmer right over the top of these because we can. All right, let's measure this first piece. This first piece is 2 1/4 inches. So larger than I need. I could cut this one this way and it would actually be probably perfect. So I'm going to turn this. I need this to be 2 inches. So we'll make this 2 inches high, or 2 inches wide, but eventually it will be the height. So I'm going to cut this at 2 inches. This is just at the wrong width for my blade housing to sit nice and clean on there. So I'm just adjusting that a little. Okay, so we're going to trim this off and use this 2-inch piece, and I'm going to cut a bunch of pieces that are 1 3/4. No, 1 1.5 by 2. Okay, so basically you need 12 pieces of each print that are all 1.5 by 2 inches. So you can use any of your trimmers that you want to do this. I'm using my 12-inch trimmer because some of these pieces I have to, like you just saw, I have to trim off just a little bit. And a 12-inch piece won't fit into my photo trimmer, so my guillotine trimmer won't like it. Oh, 1/2, there we go. Try your best to keep all of your pieces exact. Okay, so you're going to make sure you're using the shoulder on your trimmer. Make sure you are not pushing your paper beyond the line that you're measuring to, but not going short of the line that you're measuring to. That one is just right. Okay, let's see how many of these I have and if I need to cut any more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, I need 4 more. So we're going to need to adjust that just a little bit. I'm going to set those there. I'm going to grab this sheet and we are going to cut at 2 inches again. Let's see how many we can get out of this. If you can cut all of your pieces first, then this is going to go together very easily for you. So there's 2. Oh yeah, we're going to easily get what we need out of this. And then we'll move on to the next pattern. All right. So you need 12 pieces cut at 2 by 1.5. This is just going to be extra, so we'll stick that over there. This is extra. That over there. All right, then we're going to take this sort of sweatery pattern and how are we going to do this? If I do this at 1.5, ooh, if I do it at 1.5, I can get 2 strips. So let's see how much we can get from this. So straight down the middle, 2 strips that are 1.5 inches wide. And then we're going to come in here and cut them into 2-inch pieces. We'll have just enough. And you will end up with a few straggling pieces left over, but just as a general rule, you want 12 pieces of each print. Okay, so there's those. I think I'm not going to have enough of this bird one, but we're going to cut it anyway. And we're going to use it in our 8.5, so I could get 4. How can I best do this? Basically, we need 4 for sure. So let's go ahead. I'm going to cut this at 2 inches. I think I'm telling you wrong. I think I've told you way too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's just see. I cut 12 of each of these. I think that's too many now that I'm looking at it. So I apologize if you are working along with me. Hopefully we can make a note of actually how many of these are required. I tried to keep track before, but you know, sometimes I get lost in the creative process and then I don't remember my notes. Don't make enough notes to be able to say accurately what I used. All right. For this one, I am just going to do 5, and we'll just check on that. All right, and then we're going to use these beautiful snowflakes. I'm going to cut this at 2 inches. Because I need at least 6 of these. think there's 7, but that's okay. Extra is always okay. All right. And we're going to use this wood paper. And I'm going to cut 2 strips at 1.5, and then we will let's just do 1 strip at 1.5. I don't know, I keep thinking I need more. I don't think actually that I do. Okay, so you could save a little time doing this by trimming all of your paper into a 1.5-inch strip, and then stacking it on top of each other, and then coming back and trimming it all to 2-inch pieces all at one time. And that would definitely save some time. All right, so there are all the major players in our layout today. I know it may not look it, but that's okay. This is a single page layout we're going to do, and I'm going to, just to help myself, I'm going to put a little repositionable on the back of this hot fudge cardstock that I'm going to use as my base, and I'm going to actually secure this down to my desktop, to the mat that I'm using. Okay, that's going to help keep that stable so that I don't have to keep rearranging it. Okay, now, very first thing I'm going to do is grab my guillotine trimmer. You can use this trimmer, you can use this trimmer, whatever you feel more comfortable with, but I feel like I can see my points and edges better with this one, and we are going to cut a few of these pieces into triangles, so keep that in mind. Okay. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is come in here with one of this kind of gingham-y pattern, and we're going to cut this from the upper left corner to the lower right corner. Okay, so I'm going to, and just a quick note, whenever you use your guillotine trimmer, be very, very careful. It is very, very sharp. You never want to grab it like this, or even nudge it with your fingers on that blade, because your guillotine trimmer is actually sharpening itself each time you open and close it. So knowing that blade's going to be very, very, very sharp, and you just don't want to ever grab it. I had a customer just the other day, ironically, right after I had given the little safety blurb about don't ever grab it, make sure you put the arm closed when it's not in use, all of that. And I was mainly talking to her mom because her mom was brand new to our group. And a few minutes later, she cut her finger to the point where she had to leave and go to the ER and have it glued shut. So just be careful. Be careful. Okay, so I cut this from the upper left corner to the lower right corner. I took the top triangle, not the bottom triangle, but the top. Okay, I just added my repositionable adhesive so that I can get all the way out there to those points. This is going to be the very first thing we place, and it's going to go down here in this lower corner. Now, the best thing you can do is take a look at where your 1.5 inch from the corner mark is and make that point directly at it. Put your finger on there so that you can hold the paper and keep it from sliding around, and then just sort of tip it towards the edge. The edge should meet up at 2 inches from the bottom corner. Okay, and then you're going to want to push that down. Save this one. We're going to use it again in just a second. Okay, so don't let that one get too far away. Grab one of your next pattern, and we're just going to add some repositionable adhesive down both sides. This one's going to go straight on top of that, the one you just laid down. So the edge goes straight up the outside edge, and this edge continues straight up. Okay, then you're going to take the remainder of that triangle that we just used, add some adhesive to that, and you're going to take the short side and lay that down right on top of block number 2. Okay, now you're going to grab your second pattern again, and this one's going to go right next to the first piece that you put down. And you're going to come back with the next piece, which is, I'm going back to my gingham. And basically we're going to alternate patterns as we build this letter, okay? I'm gonna reach over here and grab these and bring them a little bit closer just so that they're a little easier to see, get to. So we need another one of the sweater patterns, and it goes right on top. And as you're doing this, make sure all your lines are meeting up. Do your best not to have anything hanging over the edge. We're going to go straight up all the way to the top edge. Every other one. Then we're going to build moving out. this gets a little bit tricky, because if your edge is not super straight, then your next piece is going to be off the edge. You saw how that one was a little bit too angled. So I just overlapped it just ever so slightly. It's fine. I'm going to go out on the right hand side also. Hold on here. It's a little hard to see that top edge from where I'm sitting. I think that's right. Just like that, okay? Now we are actually done with these two. So yeah, we cut too many that first time. Let's count how many we have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we started with 12. So we only used 5 pieces. So we've got enough here. I could do another page if I want. I think I'll probably have about the same with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 or 5 of one and 6 of another, and I've got plenty. I can make a second page just like this if I want to. Okay, so now we're going to use these next 2 papers that we cut, and I'm glad that I wised up and didn't cut quite as many, because we just don't need to. All right, so I'm going to start with the snowflake pattern, and this one I'm going to take 2 pieces and I'm going to cut them 2 different ways. All right, so I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to cut it from the upper left corner to the lower right corner, just like we cut the last one when we made it into a triangle. Upper left corner to lower right corner. Okay, now the difference is going to be, we've got that one. Now we're going to cut from the upper right corner to the lower left corner for this next one. I have to raise that up so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so now we've got two different ones. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to take this one. So we cut upper left to lower right. I'm going to take the top piece from that. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back. That one. And we're going to do the same thing we did from the corner over here, but we're going to pretend that this is our corner, which means that we're going out another 1.5 inches. So we're starting at a full measurement and then leaning that piece over till it matches the seam between those 2 papers. So it'll be straight. Okay. Then I'm going to take my next pattern and it's going to go right next to it. And it's going to go on top. Like that. Okay. Now I'm going to take the top one of our second piece that we cut at the opposite angle, and we're going to add adhesive to that one. This one's going to go on the outside here. And once again, we're going to put a little bird paper on top. Okay, then we're going to come up here and get two of the ones with the brown gingham on the back. I don't know what you'd call those, snowflake or snowflake paper. And these are going to go next. And then the last two of our little bird paper. On top of those. Not sure how the pattern matched up so well that we've got a bird in almost the same place, but it did. All right, now the next piece that we're going to place is this one, the remnants of that second piece that we cut at diagonal from the upper right to the lower left. We're going to add adhesive to the back of that one. Get that corner. This one's going to go short side down on the top of that, and then the top corner should be hitting that corner of the J. All right. We'll grab another snowflake piece. That's pretty. I'll use that one. That one's going to go right next to it. Oh, no. Hold on. Hold the phone. Okay, so this is where I needed an extra piece of that one, and I don't have enough. Did I have enough? 1.5. I do have enough. So I just need, so I had 5 pieces. I need a 6th piece of this bird paper. Well, we are proving ourselves. So 6 pieces. You need at least 6 pieces of each pattern. And this bird, bless his heart, is going to be sideways, but that's okay. Some birds just fly their own direction, don't they? Okay, and then the remaining triangle, and I'm going to do a little surgery here. Okay, so I'm going to make that meet, and then I'm going to come in here and adjust the bird before it. To make it match. And kind of work my way down, adjusting it little by little so that this will line up properly. Or as proper as I can get it. There we go. Okay. So now we are done with those. Let's pull these over. Come on. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to start with going to start, let's see, hang on. Give me just a second. Now we're going to start with the dark one. This is going to go straight up. So we're going to start with the line on the edge of the O, and that's where the left-hand side of this block goes, right in line with the edge of the O. Okay, then we're going to add wood piece. And I'm going to flip this so we have marble on the other edge. And because these are from the same paper, that's why we're getting a little bit of a repetitive pattern in the paper. That's all right, though. All right. Now we need to cut 2 more pieces. So I'm going to bring my trimmer back over. I'm going to come in here with 2 of my wood pieces. Actually, we're going to need to cut more than 2 pieces. Okay, so I need this piece to be cut from the left corner, upper left corner to the lower right. Oh, actually, I take that back. We are only going to need to cut 2 pieces because we're using paper that we're using both sides of. So if you're using papers that you're not using both sides, see how this has the marble on the back? If you're not using both sides, you will need to cut 4 pieces of paper in order to finish this up, okay? So just so that you know. All right, so we've got this piece, and then we're going to cut the other piece from the opposite corner, just like we did before. So we're going to cut from the right corner, upper right, to the lower left this time. Just make sure you cut one from the upper right and one from the upper left. All right, so now we've got those. Okay, so we want this piece, the top piece from the one cut from the upper left corner to the lower right corner. Okay, so wood side out, this piece is going to fit right in to that slot. Just like I meant to do that. I love it. Okay, then we're going to take the upper piece from the other piece we've cut. And it will fit in right here. Then we're going to flip these 2 pieces over so we can see the marble side. And we're going to put the short side down, and you can tell exactly which one needs to go where by their shape. So this one that was cut upper left to lower, Anyway, I'm sorry. The short edge is going to go across the top of this short edge. And this last piece is going to go across the top of this wood piece right here. Depending on the parameters of your cardstock, it may go, that piece may go and line up right with that outside edge. All right, so there is our joy. Now, to finish this up, you will need some cardstock to create some mats with. You can use a mat and you can make 3 by 4 inch photo pieces, but if you do that, you're going to block out all of the area. Like if you do your pictures like I showed you on that one example that I had, 3 by 4 will block out all of the paper you just glued down. Or you can cut these pieces, cut these mats down by 1/4 of an inch, and then you end up with a really nice edge, because this would still show some of, if these were cut down just a skosh, you could still see the outline of whatever is underneath it, right? Does that make sense? So kind of a little bit like that, if you use your imagination. Okay, something like that. So you can either put your photos in a different place, or you can use less photos. You could take your photos and maybe overlap them, kind of like so. Still use that 3 by 4 size and just kind of arbitrarily put them on your layout wherever you feel works, right? So you can still see the words. Let's see what it would look like with 4 by 6 pictures. I'm all thumbs today. Getting my nails redone tomorrow. I can hardly wait. They've grown out a lot. Okay, so 4 by 6 photos are going to cover up just a little bit more. You can still, I think, guess that the word is joy that's underneath it. So it kind of depends on the needs of your photos. If you did horizontal photos, maybe you could still tell that that says joy. If you go like raise that up a little. Something to play with anyway. Now you could do something else with this. You could get your inks out and play with your inks, or you could get a white pen out. Get my white pen out. And either by hand or use a ruler, add some stitching to this. So I would go just outside of your paper pieces and draw your stitch. just adds just a little bit more of a decorative element, kind of finishes it a little bit more. You can add some embellishments to these pages. Trying hard not to touch my paper because sometimes it takes this white pen just a little bit of time to dry. But you can see how the letter really pops when you add that little bit of emphasis. I feel like I have, I do. Something stuck to my arm. Adding stitching adds so much, and it's such a simple thing. It does take a minute to go back and add it in, but it's well worth it. I feel like you get a lot of added artistic clout, if you will. And what a fun way to emphasize your joy. Joy at everything. This time of year, I feel like we need to look for the joy. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of stress in our world right now, right? But if we can look for the joy and help those around us look for the joy, then we'll all be better for it. I'm going to keep doing this. We'll fast forward to when I'm done. All right. So now what I would do is go ahead and pull out some embellishments and go ahead and add just maybe one little embellishment. We figure out where those pictures are going to go. figure out where our photos are going to go. Okay. I'm going to borrow these mats from another one. What if we kind of did something like that? I feel like the bird sort of gets lost in that. Maybe the bunny wouldn't. I don't know. I feel like I want to add some green, but I don't want to overwhelm it. I feel like that might be a little more than I want to do. Maybe the bird after all. What do we think? I think I'm going to go with that and not add any other embellishments. I don't feel like it needs it. I feel like it's got plenty to recommend it. If you add more up here, then you distract from people noticing what it says. Still kind of on the fence about where these need to go. Keep trying to look at it from different angles and think, well, maybe I should just straighten them out instead of trying to make them crazy. I think I'm going to go with that. All right. I think I'm going to go with this version and call it good. Stop messing with it. I hope this has been a fun lesson for you, and I hope it's something that will help naturally segue you into our holiday layouts, because that's what's coming next. My 12 days of layouts. You're going to get 2 layouts a week, so you won't feel as rushed to complete them if you are working along with me. And so 2 layouts a week until Christmas, and that will get us our 12 days of holiday layouts. Believe it or not, I hope you're ready. The holidays are here. Whew. Deep breaths, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me again. And until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.